as we are told in the 8th chapter of the book of Romans, that the creature was made subject unto futility, not by its own will, but by the will of him who subjected him, in hope that the creature would be set free from this bondage to corruption and obtain the glorious liberty of the children of God. So you and I did not choose to come here. We were innocent and we were irreflective. We were like sleepwalkers. We perceived without noticing that we perceived. Now we perceive and we notice we perceive, but in that freedom we make mistakes. But may I comfort you, you had to make mistakes. As told us in the 11th chapter of the book of Romans, that God's gifts and his call are irrevocable. And it was God who has actually subjected all men to disobedience, that he may have mercy upon all. But who subjected who? God subjected all men. You know who he subjected? He subjected himself. He sunk himself in us, and then subjected himself to disobedience, that he may awaken, had to pass through all the furnaces, that he may awaken as the being that he is. But in awakening, he brings us with him, individualized, and he and I are one. So God is giving himself to us as though there were no others in the world, just God and you, just God and I, no other being. And then we completely awaken. And when we awaken, we are one, and it's God. So don't be concerned and think with someone today because he's more wicked than you are, or that you can remember that you've been, that he is not saved, or he will not be saved. Forget it. Not one being can be lost. Everyone is going to be saved, and it's God playing all the parts. And so he subjected me, he subjected you, he subjected every being in this world to disobedience, that he may have mercy upon all. And then he calls us, because his call is irrevocable, and his gift is irrevocable. His gift is this: when you lie down with your fathers, meaning when you die, that's a nice way of putting it, and when your time is fulfilled and your days are fulfilled, and you lie down with your fathers, I will raise up your son after you, who will come forth from your body. I will be his father, and he shall be my son. Out of us, he does it. Now this is the most fantastic thing in the world. No scholar seems to understand it. And I must confess, as I stand here, I have not revelation, I have simply an intuitive knowledge of it, based upon another revelation. But the actual statement in the 8th chapter of Proverbs is something that has confounded all the wise men throughout the ages. And listen to it carefully. There are about 10 verses, beginning with the 22nd verse of 8th Proverbs. And it goes through just 10 verses. The Lord created me at the beginning of his way. I am the first of his acts of old. Before he brought forth the heavens, before he established the earth, before he set boundaries to the seas, before he did anything, I stood beside him as a little child, and I was daily his delight. It gives you so much to think about. They call this wisdom, yet it doesn't say wisdom. It says a little child. I stood beside him as a little child. That the Lord created me at the very beginning of his way. I am the first of his acts of old. I stood beside him as a little child. Now, no man that I've read unnumbered Bibles and interpretations of Bibles and the different exegeses in the world, and no Jew agree, but no one will actually accept it as the ancient scriptures stated, a little child. And yet, I know from my own experience, there is that little child. And it's everlastingly a little child. and is only a babe, wrapped in swaddling clothes. Was that what God created? Was that his initial act of creation? And he so loved it. It was daily his delight. Is that what God buried in us? For we are told in the book of Ecclesiastes, God has put eternity into the mind of man. And the word translated eternity, which is elam, is by definition a stripling, a youth, a boy, a little child. That's what my Bible tells me. I have Strong's Concordance. I have Prudence Concordance. I have many concordances at home. But James Strong's Concordance is exhaustive. And it is really the guide for most people who are Bible students. And James Strong defines the word which our scholars translate eternity. And the Lord God has put eternity into the mind of man. And the word is elam. E-H-L-E-M. Elam. And yet Strong defines that word as a lad, a stripling, a youth. Eternity is that what God created in the beginning of his way? Is that little child that stood beside him that was his daily delight? Is it that he put into our minds? I say yes. Because my own experience bears witness to that. And yet, that is a sign. So I cannot completely ignore the interpretation of the great scholars. But the thing is not defined in Strong's as eternity. It's defined as a lad. It's defined as a youth. It's defined as a stripling. He put a stripling into the mind of man. He put a lad that was daily his delight. Now, is he going to bring it out? He promises, I will actually bring forth from your body your son. He will come forth from your body, and I will be his father, and he shall be my son. Well, did he put that first creative act of his into my mind? Did he call it then his son? If he called it then his son, and he sunk it in us, all of us, when he brings it forth, and it that is brought forth is our son, then who will be?